This lesson, we will be covering the Hackerrank easy rated algorithm, jumping on the clouds. So in this question, we are presented an array, and a 1 represents a thundercloud, and a 0 represents a safe cloud. And essentially, you're a character jumping through all of these clouds. You should not jump on a thundercloud, you lose, and you want to jump on all the safe clouds. And you can jump as many as 2 clouds at a time. You can jump either 1 cloud or 2 clouds. And it's important to note that you won't be presented an array that's impossible. Like you will be able to return of okay, so sorry. You'll also return the number of jumps. You want to return the minimum number of jumps that it takes to go from the beginning of the array to the end of the array. And there's no instances where it's impossible. You will always be able to return a integer at the end. That also means that there will be no instances where there are 2 1s right next to each other. So like right here, you start on a safe cloud. If there were 2 1s, you couldn't jump. And then similarly, you can't go past the array. You need to stay within the array. Hopefully that's clear. Hopefully that makes sense. It took a little while for me to wrap my mind around that. I was thinking, what if you can't? What if you can't? Well, that's actually never going to happen. So you don't need to worry about that. But so let's head over to Replit and start to write some code to try and figure out this algorithm. Up here we have an array, and let's just do some mental math to see the minimum number of jumps that it would take to get through this array. So our first jump, we don't want to jump 2 clouds, right? You can't jump 2 clouds here. You would essentially want to jump 2 clouds as many times as you possibly can in order to return the minimum number of jumps, right? But here immediately you can't do 2 jumps because 2 jumps is going to land you on a thundercloud. So you'd want to take 1 jump, and then you'd want to take another jump, jumping over the thundercloud. That would give you 2. 2 jumps. First jump was 1, second jump was 2. You'd land on this position. Again, you can't do a double jump because you'd land on a thundercloud, so you do a single jump, and then you would double jump over that thundercloud to the last position, and you would finish. So how many jumps was that? That was 1 jump, 2 jump, 3 jump, 4 jump. Minimum would be 4. So hopefully you're following, hopefully you're grasping what we have and what we were looking for. And basically what this question is going to come down to is a couple if statements. So you could think of this as, you could think of this problem in a way where you'd want to store 2 values. You'd want to store the cloud that you're on and how many jumps you have taken. And what can we do with this? Well, we want to keep jumping while we are on a cloud that is less than our last cloud, right? So if our last cloud is index position, what is this? I think it's 6 or 7. You'd want to keep jumping until you're at that index position. And you would want to stop jumping and see how many jumps you took to get there. So that means we can write a while loop, and we can write it while cloud, because we've now set this variable of cloud. While cloud is less than the length of our cloud array, -1. And why would we do -1? Because if we did the full length, if we did it without the -1, well, we would get to this last position, and then we would consider jumping again. We don't want to jump again when we get there in any instance. We only want to consider jumping anymore if we land in this position or this position. Because here, we will do a double jump to get to the end. Here, if this wasn't a thundercloud, we would do a single jump to get to the end. And that actually leads into the next bit of logic. So what would you essentially want to get out of the way first in our if conditions? You would want to get rid of this scenario. And I'll write it out, and hopefully it'll start making sense. If cloud equals length of C minus 2. What would you do? So what is happening here? That means we are at this position. And that means no matter what, we're going to jump once. Now, you would think that, jumping two clouds is the optimal thing, right? You would want to jump two clouds as many times as possible. But say that both of these are safe clouds. Let's just delete this one for a second and put a 0. Both of these are safe clouds. If you were under the assumption that you'd want to continue to jump 2 every time, well, that would put you outside of the array. So no matter what, if you wind up on this second to last position, you would add 1 jump no matter what. So we can write that as cloud. Really, adding the cloud here doesn't even matter because we're at the end. I mean, I guess it does, so you exit the while loop. Yeah, actually, yeah, sorry, that is important. You do want to increase the cloud there so you can exit the while loop. But you would do cloud would be plus equals 1, and then jumps would be plus equals 1. And what's happening here? Well, we're storing the cloud as an index value, essentially. And we are storing the jumps as a jump value. And that'll be more clear when we write this elif statement. So how would we evaluate the rest of this array? So, okay, let's say our cloud is 0. We've got cloud stored as 0. We're going to start at, sorry, didn't mean to do that. Let's just, let's write some pseudocode for a second. So what are we starting at? We're starting at C of 0. Cloud of 0 in our array. And what do we want to do? Well, we want to take the minimum number of jumps, right? So we want to do a double jump at every instance we can. So we're going to evaluate C at cloud plus 2. So our first cloud is 0. We're going to evaluate cloud 2. And is cloud 2 a thundercloud or a safe cloud? Well, in this instance, it's not a safe cloud. It's a thundercloud. So we would not do it. We'd move to the next if in our elif sequence. But if it were, we would increase the cloud by 2, and we would increase our jump by 1. So let's write that out. Right, elif C of cloud plus 2. Let's make this a little nicer. Equals 0, which means it's a safe cloud. If we are on our current cloud and 2 clouds ahead of us is safe, we will cloud plus, oh, there goes my computer dying, cloud plus 2, because we've jumped 2 clouds and we've done 1 jump, so we will add 1 value to our stored jump counter. And then, of course, the last conditional will be if this is not our scenario, if this is not our scenario, what's the last scenario that we can encounter? We would look at the cloud 1 ahead of us. If that's equal to 0, we will cloud plus equals 1 and jump plus equals 1. And it'd be nice if I used consistency with my jump and my jumps. We'll do jumps. So let's go ahead. We don't really need to print it. We'll just print the answer at the end. We'll print, what are we printing? We want to print our jumps, right? We want to see our minimum number of jumps and then return that at the end. C is not defined. Oh, I'm sorry. I did. This is from a previous question. Let's go ahead and change that to C. That should take care of that. Okay, yep, there we go. We get 4 jumps. Like we mentioned earlier, that's what we would be looking for. And we got it. So let's go ahead and pop this into Hackerrank. And hopefully our algorithm passes all of our test cases. Let's get this formatted really quick. Just a moment. Okay. And of course, return our jumps. Let's go ahead and run it. Awesome. Passed our sample test cases. Let's test against all the test cases, just a couple simple ones, and there we go. We get all passes. Hopefully that makes sense to you guys. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to pop them down in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead and hit the like button. And if you're a fan of algorithms, I post these very, very frequently, so go ahead and hit subscribe, and you'll see all the new action coming in. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.